What's going on, everybody? This is Mike Bennett and Mike Baker coming at you with the 7th episode of the Weekly Tech Wrap-Up. Hope everybody's doing good today. We kind of got around a little bit late to record this episode. You know, stuff happens in life, but we back in full effect. Same stuff going on as usual. How you doing today, Mike?
Good, man. I'm good. I'm here. Dedicated, motivated. See, you press that record button, I'm motivated, B.
That's what it is. You know what I'm saying? Hit the start button and we on. Yeah. But yeah, we want to jump right into it, man. Today's topics, we going over 3 things I feel like that kind of point into a futuristic type of vibe. So first thing, Amazon Go's cashierless stores have a new rival. Secondly, we jump to the next topic. Chinese scientists who produce genetically altered babies sentenced to 3 years in jail. That seems pretty light to me, but we'll jump into that. And then last, Woodlands resident and doctor creates technology for flying vehicles. So and I when I was reading that article, it sounded a little bit ambiguous about what type of. They didn't say what type of doctor. They just said doctor. So I mean, I think that'd be some feat to accomplish if the doctor was just like, you know, a regular heart surgeon, but then making flying vehicles. But we'll dissect that when we get to it, man. But let's start with this first one as far as Amazon Go's cashierless stores, man. So the thing is, if for people, I guess, if for the people out there, if you may not know, Amazon has cashierless stores, meaning that you can go a certain place and based on, you know, to your liking and what they have, you can pretty much put in your request, get it. You know, it's cashierless. Think about, you know, futuristic, you know, you're going to, what you call it, Mike? Like a utopic society?
Utopia, yeah. One of utopia societies. That's what I think this all is, man. Anytime they keep talking about these cashierless stores, I just...
And what I think was interesting is that, so they already had that jumping, but it says in the article that a small little gas station Shell, Shell is not small, but it's a gas station in Silicon Valley, a suburb in Silicon Valley, has this type of technology that they say could rival what Amazon Go has. Now, I think that's an ambitious goal to say you're going to rival Amazon because Amazon is already on top of the game. But how you feel about that, Mike? What's your take on that?
Utopia societies, B. I always I keep thinking that it like I believe that it like it's possible for all this technology to come together to be able to do something as funky as a cashierless store where you could literally just walk in and grab your item and walk out. But like I feel like nonetheless it's too open for people to really. You know, people ain't perfect, man. Like we got these systems in play for some things to be like as perfect as possible, and that's why I keep saying like that utopia society, like in utopia in like Demolition World, like what was that movie Demolition Man? Where he was in the future, and like they had the 3 soaps and all this stuff, like. Yeah. In that world where Taco Bell is like the luxury restaurant and stuff like that, like, yeah, I guess you can get away with like having people go into a store and just walk in, grab some stuff and walk out. But like, just like in Demolition Man, they have an underground society there. Like, it's going to be people that's just walking in there, snatching stuff up. They got the mask on and they just grab and go. Like, it's nothing to stop people and it's no deterrent. And I mean, in an ideal society with Silicon Valley and types, like, yeah, maybe they can fly with that. But, you know, as long as, you know, if it's something like San Francisco, as long as they put all those black people over across that bridge in Oakland, then yeah, they could probably do something like that. Yeah. You know what I mean, like as long as they restrict as many people as possible and try to make it one of those societies where you gotta be like $250,000 and up to even live there. Right. Then yeah, this cashless store is gonna work, but I ain't got it working for the majority of the people. Maybe, yeah, I mean, like maybe just a cashless store where you just still got to use your card or something. But the way that they try to make it seem like, you know, all they're going to use is these cameras, and the camera's just going to identify your face. And based on your face, it's going to be able to charge you. And based on just knowing where you were in the store and the item that you reached out and pulled, it's going to say, oh, that was Mike that pulled that item. And this is the item that he pulled, and it's just going to automatically like track your hand, getting that can of beans, pulling it in your bag. You know what I mean? Like,
baked beans.
I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm thinking like somebody like my father. Yeah, I mean, he go in there and get some red beans or something for his chili or whatever. And he just going to go over there and get the can of beans. He take it, he just put it in his little basket, and then he walk out the store. He don't pay nothing, nobody do anything. It's just the system, all the automated systems, the cameras and all the sensors that are in place, just being able to identify that it was me that took those beans and put them in my cart and then just walked out. It's too many probabilities, man. It's like too many things that got to go right for it to go right.
Yeah, I was thinking that for like, as far as the cameras, and then having possibly biometric scanning or something along those lines.
Yeah, I mean, and that's like, and it got to be like invasive. Like it can't be like, all right, you got to stand in this line. We scan your thumb, and then you walk in. Like because nobody really wants their fingerprint to be scanned. Like even with these phones now that scan your fingerprint, they had a big deal about, well, who is it sending the fingerprint to now? It's like, no, the fingerprint stays on the phone and all this stuff. The fingerprint stays on the device. Similar like the face unlock, and they like, well, who my face going to? Where my face getting sent to for the scan?
It's on the phone.
It's like, no, it's all staying on the phone. It's staying on the phone. Like, I ain't got people going for biometrics to go buy some orange juice and like potato chips and shit from the store.
Like, and then it seems that it's going to have to be. It seems this it's going to be intrusive if it has to work. Meaning that because you have to think. It said it's cashierless, but it's not securityless, right? I mean, at least I don't think it'll work because somebody comes in there and, like you said, you know, not your dad. I won't put any that. Maybe, you know, someone like me. I'm feeling, you know, I'm low on cent right now. I got $1, so I need to get these baked beans real quick. You know, I go in and steal them, Jones. And like, how they gonna track me down? You know, I can go in there with a mask on, something like that. So you never know. It's going to have to be, you know, you said utopia society in which you know, everybody is cool and the system knows everybody, and because the system knows everybody, no one gets out of hand. As long as someone can challenge the power right now, this idea of having no person in the store to be a deterrent from, you know, criminal activity, then I think it's a long shot just for anything, even for Amazon. And, you know, Amazon kind of runs the world as far as consumer stuff goes. But still, you got to have somebody there, you know, and it can go even deeper than that. They say that someone gets some type of merchandise from one of these cashierless stores, and then, you know, they go in and say they actually purchase it, but then they can call up customer service and say, oh, I never received, or something was faulty or something like that, and it's working properly. Mm-hmm. What if that's completely automated where, you know, if something was actually broken, how would the automated system know that it's broken? And if it's not broken, then how would they know that the person's telling the truth or not? So it's, like you said, there's so many different variables in it that will have to be right and be on point for it to be something that's realistic, because people are, you know, we have our vices, man. And, you know I ain't always been, I've shown a little sleight of hand in the past, so I think I can see that. Ain't nobody, you know, I ain't got no warrants on me or nothing like that. It was nothing, not a bag of chips or something like that. But yeah, man, you think about somebody when you can't see. Look at all the stuff that happened with the whole Black Friday, when Black Friday kind of just hitting, the craze was happening, people was getting trampled and people were stealing stuff, and that you could see, they had people there to see, but it just wasn't enough. So you have no one in the store. A Walmart store with no cashiers.
Right, exactly. How would that happen on a Black Friday? Yeah, you're not opening up a Best Buy with no like people in there to do anything with the cashier, like to service people, to watch people or anything. It's just they get to pick up their stuff and walk right out with it. Nah, B, I ain't got that happening. I don't have to have. Oh yeah, y'all got this TV for sale. This 55-inch TV for sale. I'm just gonna pick this up and walk right out. I mean, and he grabbed my face and said, "Oh, that was Mike that took that TV. Let's just bill Mike because we got his card already. We got his identification. Yeah, I mean, he signed up for it. You gotta allow a lot of your data just to be exposed. Like you gotta have like, here, take my face." Take my card, take my address, take my phone number. Yeah, I mean, you gotta allow for all that to happen before the store can be like, yeah, we'll just run this operation like this. It's gonna be a while. We still trying to get people to just be able to pay with their cell phone, let alone, I mean, like, let alone to be able to
be honest enough to walk into them. And then I'm thinking too, like they had to resort to. You brought up something that I think could make sense. I was sitting here thinking like if I owned a store and people were stealing, I would have to get like a drone or something like that.
Right.
To, like, is the alarm go off or something and they come out with the guns? But then I think your way of doing it is probably a little bit more ethical, in which we already know, Mike, we own the soul, we'll just bill them.
Right. And that's the thing. Like we gotta submit to, like, it work in China. This type of stuff works in China because they gave all their rights away. Like, here's everything about me. I mean, they get billed when they jaywalk. They got cameras that when you jaywalk across the street, it take a picture of your face and bill you, and it show your picture and your ID on the screen so that it embarrasses you. I mean, so like they got that type, but that's their society. For America to do it, our whole society had to be that open, and I mean, we believe in the potential of innocence before proven guilty type thing.
Yeah.
I mean, so
I think that if we did something like that in America, or tried, if the powers that be, the government and whoever's above the government, tried to do something like that in America, there'd be anarchy. We have too much freedom.
Yeah.
I mean, like,
exactly.
Things, it'll be calamity. Things will break out. It'll be a complete catastrophe. It'll completely disrupt and disassemble all of what we know as like the law system and everything. Like it'd be crazy. So I don't know, man. I think it's a little bit too early, for we need to evolve as humans to get to that. But let's go on to the next topic, man. Says here, Chinese scientists who produced genetically altered babies sentenced to 3 years in jail. I wanted to read a little excerpt of this just to see, because it sounds just weird to me how this rolled out. And mind you, this is in let's see, it's Hong Kong. Django, where is it? Yeah, it's in China. So yes, it's in over in China somewhere. But
right.
Says a court in Shenzhen found that I don't know his name. He and 2 collaborators forged ethical.
I don't even know. We'll paste it in the notes.
Yeah, man. China,
his first name is he.
So Zhang, I don't know. Is it Quad? Because the UI, I don't know, man.
Yeah, I'm going to say one guy. He one guy. Anybody that's Chinese or study Chinese, please correct us, because we American.
It's nothing personal. It's nothing personal. No jokes down, nothing. We just trying to figure this out.
Yeah, we just
it says there he and 2 collaborators forged ethical review documents and misled doctors into unknowingly implanting gene-edited embryos into women, according to Xinhua, China's state-run press agency. One mother gave birth to 2 girl twins in November 2018. It has not been released where the third baby came. Says the court ruled that 3 defendants had deliberately violated national regulations in biomedical research and medical ethics. So, man, I mean, I again, this kind of goes into, this is that futuristic, maybe utopia society where everything is just run by machines, and we trust them, and we deal with artificial intelligence, I guess, at that time. So, they trust us. But I've always been a little bit eerie about this whole thing with genetically modifying things in the first place. Like, we of course you have that with a lot of the chicken and foods that we eat, but when you start genetically modifying human beings, that have thoughts, moral systems, and codes, and all this stuff like that, I think it gets a little scary to know what people could potentially be trying to do, like having flying people and all this stuff. It can go in all different type of directions. Where I think in this direction, it will, where we are as a civilization, would not work for us to have genetically modified human beings that have capabilities beyond what the average human being has.
Right. I'm surprised he even got locked up for real, because this happened. Apparently, this happened in China, but I mean, he got most of his studies and most of his education in America, but I feel like China would. I would be under the belief that China would allow this type of study to happen. You know what I mean, like where they would at least be like, yeah, let's try out cloning. Let's see what coming up with a genetically perfected baby would do. You know what I mean, like. I think mostly probably because of the homogeneous nature of Chinese culture, where most of China is Chinese people. So ideally, I mean, you would think that they would try to come up with like the super Chinese person. So like how they always say with like the Russian, they're trying to come up with like the superior Russian type thing.
I say the super China man.
Yeah. I mean, like I feel like they would be at that point in their society where they'd be like, you know what, we're going to try to come up with the supreme Chinaman, and we're going to create super Chinese soldiers. I mean, but like, I don't believe that is far off. I believe half of it. I believe is this half the reason why these people go into the field anyway, is so that they can help potentially improve human society by creating genetically altered human beings. And like figuring out half the time they start off saying, we're just trying to cure diseases. But then 10 years in, they like, we try to make it so you don't never have that disease again. Yeah, I mean, so nobody ever has that disease. I mean, so we just genetically better than we don't even get that sickness anymore. And like, I think they all want to go into it now, but like, America has those type of regulations. I'm surprised China has those regulations where they're willing to put somebody in jail for it, just because of, I feel like they always want to be a step ahead. Where if the U.S. ain't doing it, they'll do it just because we not doing it.
Well, as putting on my supreme conspiracy theorist hat, I think that someone would say that genetically modified human beings already exist.
Yeah, true indeed. Yeah, I mean, like
food or whatever.
I mean, in actuality, that's what they've been trying to do with us for like breeding purposes. Like they've been, people that have control over society have been like, yeah, we're gonna, even like Europe and shit. They used to do a lot of fucking inbreeding and shit so that they can try to keep their royal line within the family type thing. I mean. Essentially, that's like a form of genetic manipulation. Essentially, like going against what should be, and trying to actually manually introduce some method to alter how the genetic line is going to go. And now we're down to a molecular level where we can change the DNA of a person, and that's the issue, is that they're trying that. I mean, yeah, I think we're already at the point because we do it in our foods right now. It's just we tell society, we tell the doctors and whatnot, don't do it to people.
Right.
Whatever y'all do, y'all can do it to foods and all this stuff. Don't do that stuff to people.
Either way, yeah. It's a slippery slope, because you can, if on one end, trying to be, I don't know if this is playing devil's advocate, side about the pig, but you could say that it could be beneficial. There's a lot of people that certain. So it's a guy online named Jordan Peterson. He's he is like a supreme psychologist. He teaches in Toronto. Like, you can probably look up some of his stuff, man. This guy's, from what I've seen, how he handles himself and everything. He's a smart guy, brilliant. But he goes into an interview. He talks about he and his family have like an abundant amount of autoimmune like issues. And one of the things that he did, he says he's resorted to just having a pure diet where he just eats all beef and salt and water, nothing else, and it's cured everything. Which I think is kind of like, it sounds weird. I'm not not a nutritionist or anything like that. But for what taking his word, he said there was a lot of his daughter had it. You know, his wife had it, and you know they've taken on this diet, and suddenly where they just eat meat and eat salt, and it's cured everything. But looking at it from a perspective of how it's a benefit, maybe if they did have a little bit of genetically modifications, some genetic modifications, they wouldn't have to resort to just limiting what they intake for beef. Maybe they can just start really living to eat rather than eating to live. And,
right.
and so I can see that. But then again, how humans operate, some people just push the envelope. So give an inch, they want to take the whole world, right? So somebody gonna have wings, and somebody gonna have an extra leg for a purpose, and so it's just
yeah.
I don't know. It gets kind of funky, man, because you're like once you get one thing in, it's like, all right, it's just like the sky's the limit. We can do anything. Maybe we can make a man with two heads. Right? I was like saying stuff like that. I ain't trying to deal with it. I think that's inhumane, and at that point, I feel like we would be breaking the rules of humanity to have those things.
I mean, I'm not even gonna get into my whole thing about how some of our evolution is we sort of force like a stop on human evolution in a way. Anyway, when it comes to potentially humans that are grown, because we come up with a standard of what the human should be, and that's like our own. We sort of force that on us, like what the human should look like and human should be like, and now that we're like in a conscious state, we choose what a human should look like and be like. But evolution has been slowly trying to give us these mutations and like what we consider abnormalities and what we consider mutations for a while, and we put a halt on that, and we don't allow that type of genetics to spread. Like we don't allow that type of DNA to spread out. Somebody's born with, there was a girl in India that was born with 4 arms. I mean, she was born with 2 extra arms.
Oh, wow.
And in India, she's kind of seen as like a god, because they have that goddess. It's like some deity that they have that has multiple limbs, and they kind of see her as a god. But then the doctors, all the PhDs, they see that as just a genetic defect, and that's something that they got to work on breaking so that they can help her and save her life and stuff like that. But who's to say that that's not genetics potentially trying to give us a mutation that we can adapt to for a future society that we can live in? But we sort of stop that by saying, no, this is what humans look like. If you don't look like this, and if you don't match this template, then you're an abnormal person. You need to be, your genetics need to be shut down.
And then stuff like that. That's his valid point, man, because it would look weird. But then you think, if someone has 4 functioning arms, what would they be able to do?
Right.
I guess how to freedom. I don't know. And then maybe it almost seems like they don't have a place when you hear they would take stuff, they take it like that this is an abnormality, that or an abomination even, and try to get rid of these type of things. It makes you think, well, is it because they don't really have like a place in society, they feel like right now? Like if it was just maybe like within the next generation, 100,000 people legitimately born like that, would they just get rid of all of them? Or
right.
Like try to get, so it makes it
thing, like how that process should happen. It's like, should it be like how who's to say what is the plan for evolution? You know what I mean? So like, if we got to say 100,000 people need to be birthed looking with this similar like characteristic in order for us to say that this is an evolutionary change. This isn't something that humans should be controlled, and we should allow this to happen. What if it is? What if it does start with one person having children that create multiple, and then creates multiple? It got to be a thing that's allowed. I feel like we're already manipulating, whether we're doing it on a micro level with actual DNA changes, or we're doing it on a macro level, just saying, no, this baby's mentally, it's physically ill. This baby has physical abnormalities. They got to be moved on to the side. That's hard to say. Like when we have children with Asperger's or autism and stuff like that, we say that, oh, no, that's something wrong with them. But who's to say that they're not just hyper advanced in the normal way that society is used to? That just doesn't work for them. But we put.
So it's not like a lot of those. Like, would you find that's good because a lot of people who are deemed as autistic, right, or have all of these syndromes do tend to have like a characteristic or a trait that's displayed that's like super, like disproportionately different from the norm. Like, people, I remember I seen something where this guy was able to, he was autistic, or I forgot what he had, but he was able to draw like the full landscape of a city and only seen it once.
Right.
Like, he drew it. So I mean, I don't know, man. It gets janky because again, too, when people, the reason why it gets like that is because if it happens based on nature, because nature is selecting it, you can almost say this to our benefit, like it's for our need, because nature selects what evolution is, right? But if you put it into the hands of, a human that has their own vices, their own ambitions, well, how could you trust a human with that power to do something that benefits everyone? So yeah, I mean, yeah, I can see both sides, man. We just have to, we won't see it in our lifetime, maybe, but within the next, 10,000 years, who knows? But
yeah, all that stuff is like extinction level. Require extinction level events to occur for society to change our ways.
Yeah, man. But
don't worry, World War III on the way.
Right. Last article, man. It says Woodlands resident and doctor creates technology for flying vehicles. So, like I said earlier, when we first was introduced, it doesn't say here what type of doctor, but it says now his name's Jesse A. Marcel is an engineering genius. So I'm just going, for the sake of making sense of this, I'll take it that he's maybe a doctor of some type of engineering. You know what I mean? That, because this makes sense. But one of the lines here says that, I'll read a couple of it. It says, Chimenti's public relations staffer met Marcel at a UFO convention in Washington, D.C., makes sense, about 6 or 7 years ago. She linked them up. Marcel began to talk to Chimenti about his designs and vision. Say, I realized back in 2016, 2017 that what he had was enormous and that it was going to change everything. So I think that, with the reason why, so scale it back here, the whole idea with Nikola Tesla, he created renewable energy back in, I think it was like the 1920s, 30s, or something like that. And there's been a lot of conspiracy around about like what happened, right? But now we're at this point where we are introducing that type of technology now. I feel that what happens with things like this, there's already a sense of controlled change, like we were just talking about, from the previous article, a controlled evolution, right? But when someone or something, an event happens where like supremely jumps ahead of the controlled evolution, it tends to be met with with a lot of resistance and almost, because it can go against the status quo and what people deem as, the right type of evolution, they try to shut it down.
Right.
But because we got, it's almost like Tesla and what they're doing over there, with Elon Musk is doing over there, people would consider that as like the highest form of, transportation as of right now, is that, we had legitimately like cars that don't need gas, right? Yeah. And they're manufactured completely different, no type of accelerate, brakes, and like all it brakes on its own, everything like that. But then you have a car that hovers, like, how you feel about that?
I mean, I feel like for this particular situation with this type of flying car, this is a flying vehicle. It's sort of like a bike where it essentially is a one-man vehicle where you hop on and you sort of straddle the thing like a horse, and it's what they call a VTOL vehicle, with a vertical takeoff and landing vehicle, where for flying vehicles, the vertical takeoff and landing, most airplanes just, they go forward, and the wings sort of catch the air and it allows for takeoff, whereas these vertical ones essentially are using like down facing propellers, sort of like a drone, and it literally just lifts up and takes off. It's like a drone, but built like a bike. And I think these don't really work in most societies because just because of the fact that it's like it's a utopia society type thing again, where it's like the design for it is kind of insecure, like having these propellers flying around everywhere, and they like when you next to a real drone, even a small drone, drones be loud as hell. Like even a small drone just be sounding like something about to come down and hit you over the head real quick. It's loud, it's buzzing, the wind blowing everywhere. Like if you got one flying in the office or something, all the papers flying everywhere. So having one of these out in the wild where it's supposed to be like industrial level where you can actually treat it like a bike, it's gonna blow people everywhere. Like people like see somebody standing next to the bike and you're about to take off. Next thing you know, like people got to stand back 5 feet because it's just wind blowing everywhere on the ground, dresses flying up and all this stuff. Like
suitcases,
yeah, like people just like, oh, shit, he taking off, like It don't work in that world, but like if you're emergency services and like you're trying to get to a location faster than most people, or like you just got a particular scenario, like they would take off on top of a building. Like I could see this happening, but it's like the way that it would happen. So like if say there's an emergency on the 50th floor of a building and like there's a fire up there and you can't get like a ladder up there fast enough to be able to shoot water up from there, you can send like one of these joints up and it may be attached with like some hose on the back of it so that it can shoot water. Like they showed there's been other examples of like flying vehicle type things. Like there's a viral video out now where it was like some lady was having they were having a wedding on an island, but this dude had like a jetpack, like a water jetpack on his back, and he was literally like flying around, and he interrupted the wedding just flying through the coast. He flying through the coast of the beach, on his jetpack with the water shooting out the back. And all it is really is water just shooting out the back of it, pushing him up in the air. So he's like 30, 40 feet in the air, but it's like he's flying, basically.
Propelling himself somehow.
Yeah, he's propelling himself. So like I could see like in these examples using it for like emergency situations. There's a fire on the 50th floor. They got the hose hooked up to this flying vehicle where they're able to fly it up to the 50th floor and shoot the water out the hose and be right there. But it would be very particular scenarios, and it couldn't be used every day everywhere because it would just be regulation. Sort of like helicopters. Like you can't just have helicopters
ran in the streets.
Yeah. You got to take off at a certain destination. Like you got to take off and land somewhere specific. And like I could see that working in those scenarios. It's amazing that it happened. But it's like it was kind of obvious now with all these drones in the air that we're bound to start having like human level drones where people can ride them, but it wouldn't be for like day-to-day travel where somebody's just driving to work. Just because it caused so much of a distraction and interference with normal society. Just people trying to live. I'm gonna just go to Rite Aid real quick. Let me put on this rocket ship. Let me hop in this rocket and just go to the Rite Aid real quick. Go to the CVS. I ain't got it working like that. But I think it's gonna be interesting. More than likely, we will start seeing this used in the wild, but it'll be like licensed professionals.
Yeah, it has to be like that. Somebody gotta have the pilots for it. You know what I mean? Almost like it's on what's called man on Marvel. Falcon. How he's like the pilot of the Falcon.
Right.
You know what I mean? Something like that.
Right.
And that's gonna be like it's crazy, but yeah, I think that. So it sounds like whenever there is, and I think this is how it really happens, is that whenever there's some type of tech that comes out that a civilian makes, it is for regulation reasons. It's seized by the government, right? And then they find some way to use it for the government's purposes, and then within like an environment, like a closed environment where it's tested, they see how it could function with like like I said, in a controlled environment, and then maybe 30 or 40 years later, they will release it to the public. Maybe not 30 or 40 years later, but that's where it's going to go.
Yeah.
But whether it be for what's being created disrupts the it's disruptive as far as society goes, or disruptive as far as where the finances goes. You know what I mean? Like
That's how the computer was. Like, computer was used in World War I, World War II, but ain't nobody really used a computer in their home to like 1980 something, 1990.
Right. So it is, man. So, but yeah, I mean that's pretty much it, man. I think we hit everything pretty hard, man.
Yeah.
I like these articles, man, because they, like I said, this seems like pretty futuristic, and it definitely invokes conversations that I think needs to be had and that the public needs to know. Anything else you want to talk about, Mike? Anything on your mind?
No. I know somebody was asking me if we want to talk about CES at all. We might talk about it next week. I wanted to let the scene sort of slow down with CES, the Consumer Electronics Show.
Yeah,
because that happened basically all this week. But I wanted to let the scene sort of die down. I don't want to just like follow like the latest tech thing that came out, because like 100 things came out this week, but like all of that stuff, a lot of stuff was just like gadgetry and stuff like that. So I wanted to wait and let it sort of die down, let society, let the media sort of eat away at it and pick at it a little bit before we bring up those topics. But next week I might break up some stuff about CES. But yeah, really ain't got too much to talk about this. These are good topics here, right here.
Yeah, definitely, man. I like this, man. But yeah, that's pretty much what we got for y'all today. I want you all to, if you want to know more about, what we're doing here, the Weekly Tech Wrap Up, things we talk about, you can find us on pretty much all social media channels. Just Google us. I'm just going to date myself and say just Google search us. No, just Google us on whatever your favorite platform is, and attach the Weekly Tech Repertoire, and you'll find us there. Make sure that you follow us where you can follow us, you subscribe to us where you can subscribe to us, and you leave comments and feedback. We appreciate you all's feedback, just to know that, just to stroke my ego. I don't know about Mike, but to stroke my ego that we're doing a good job, and just to want to hear more of what you all want to hear about. So
I like the pros and the cons. You can critique us, you can applaud us. I want to hear it all.
All right, man. So that's what we do with these companies that we
exactly. Exactly.
But I think that's it. That's all we got for today, man. I want y'all to enjoy yourselves. Whatever it is you're doing, keep at it. It's Mike Bennett and Mike Baker signing out. Peace.
Take it easy.